Here at WagerTalk, we would never say it was silly to buy a single play $25 package or buy a single play $35 package, but we are darn close to saying just that. Until Sunday at midnight Eastern, we have discounted every handicapper's 3-day all sports, all access packages to just $49. So why buy one play for $25 when you can get 3 days of all access pass for only $24 more? With the 5% that regularly costs $35, you can get 3 full days for only $14 more. No coupon needed. Just head over to WagerTalk and go to your favorite handicapper's homepage and lock in your 3-day all access pass for only $49.
Good morning, guys. Welcome in right here to Wager Talk TV. I'm Andrew McInnis. I have Carmine Bianco with me and Lawrence Presman. Before we start the show, I want to thank all of you guys for helping us reach 91,000 subscribers on Wager Talk TV. That number continues to grow, and we do appreciate all of you guys tuning in every single day here on Wager Talk TV. We have 3 great games to discuss today. Well, maybe not all great games, but 3 games to discuss anyway. Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins going head-to-head. The Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars. And last but certainly not least, well, maybe it is the least, the Arizona Coyotes and the Toronto Maple Leafs go head-to-head tonight after a great game yesterday with Toronto and the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm just going to throw things over to you, Carmine Bianco. A 4-0 night in the NHL. Congratulations.
Was a good night. The day started bad because I had a bad soccer morning, but thankfully NHL saved it, made it a profitable day, and I was pretty happy about that. And I finished season 3 of Succession while watching it with my wife, while watching on my phone the Pittsburgh game and the Leaf game. So just to see if I could close out the night and close out a couple of other bets that I had going. So it was pretty good altogether. Only 3 games on Wednesday. Again, this staggered lineup of games, which isn't the greatest. And then we're going to have a bunch of games tomorrow and then on the weekend. But we take what they give us right now. At least they're not canceling full cards, which is a good thing. Let's bring in the Prez. The Leafs are on the, listen, Montreal and Toronto, 3 games, Montreal and Toronto both playing on the same night, and you guys are Leafs and Montreal fans. At least Prez can be pretty happy because his Leafs are playing extremely well right now. Big win for them in Vegas. Prez, did you watch the game?
I did, and I actually released the over to my clients in both the Colorado Avalanche and Toronto Maple Leaf games, so I went 2-0. And I got to tell you, I mean, listen, all 3 of us, we had a nightmare October. I mean, I know for me, that first month, 6 weeks of the NHL season was horrific. But all 3 of us have really turned it around. And I mean, Andrew is just on a serious run. Carm, you're on a run. McInnis, 51% ROI on the season. Given that you probably lost $300 million ROI in October, it's unbelievable. So congratulations to all 3 of us for being on an incredible run. As for the Leafs, yeah, look, I mean, I'm excited about the Leafs, and I see this team obviously as a real Stanley Cup contender. I do want to point out that when Andrew said last and maybe least, I think Arizona could beat Montreal. I think any team could be. I think Montreal has to be the worst team in the league right now. But
Arizona's not playing Montreal, though.
No, because you said there were 3 bad games, and then you implied that the least team was Arizona. And I'm saying the least team is Montreal. With that said, I can't wait to discuss this Montreal game. I don't know what to do with this team. Like, I'm baffled. I mean, do you just keep playing against them? I already tried that. I tried that once, like 2 weeks ago, and I failed. Anyway, I got a big announcement coming up on Wager Talk today. So make sure to check that all out, guys. It's a humbling announcement as well. So some of the people who hate on the Prez, which I totally understand, will have a smile. Go ahead, Andrew. I hand the mic back to you.
Andrew,
12 o'clock Eastern.
before you take over, I had a bet with our producer, and I'm going to cash in on this one. I said over or under 10 minutes before the Prez takes us off course. 6 minutes and 24 seconds. I am a winner. Let's move on.
Oh, wait a minute. So
Carm,
Dan,
Carm, you wait, hold
Dan,
on, Carm,
Dan.
you can't. You can't do
Stop,
that. You can't do that to Prez.
No.
I'm gonna actually defend Prez here, Carm.
He cheated.
You can't do that to a guy that just complimented us. You can't be doing that to a
cheated.
guy that just said some nice words about us.
I was really thrilled. I was really thrilled by the compliment of in October. You guys were a zillion units down. That's quite flattering. Absolutely. It's just,
Firstly, I said Andrew was 300 million units down. You are literally trying to pull a Teddy. You are coming up with a way to start with me. First off, Daniel's son, Carm cheated. Carm cheated. Carm has never thrown to me ever. And he started talking and in mid-sentence literally said, let's go to the Prez. He was checking his stopwatch that he could throw to me with enough room to veer the show off course so that he could win his $7 million bet. And as for,
your next birthday, because we got to get back on topic. Your next birthday, I'm going to get you that T-shirt with that little kitten that's holding on to the clothing wire saying, hanging on. That's going to be the shirt I get you, and I expect you to wear it proudly. Anyways, Andrew, game one.
Yeah, well, I just want to say, Prez, I don't know about you, but I think it's fitting that you're on Wednesdays and we only have 3 games because it gives us more time for stuff like this to happen and for different things. A little bit of sidetrack stuff is good for the show, I think, sometimes. It depends on what we're talking about. But I appreciate the kind words that you gave me, Prez. But I just want to say for everybody out there watching, both Carm and Prez are on a huge run right now in the NHL as well. So I've been trying to be humble about my streak. I've obviously, as you guys know, been very excited about it. But both Prez and Carm had a undefeated night last night in the NHL. So make sure you check them out as well for their NHL plays. We do have 3 games to get into.
Thanks.
We'll start things off. Sorry, Prez, do you want one more note to add?
No, one of the guys in the chat room writes, why does Prez act like a child? And I'm like, why would he write that? And then his name is Dougie Hab.
there you go. Yeah.
I no response required.
So the Bruins tonight, speaking of the Habs, the Bruins are minus 360 against the Habs. The Montreal Canadiens are plus 290. The total is at 6 in this game. And look, guys, Montreal hasn't played since New Year's Day. And, we know what's gone on when there's been layoffs with teams. We saw it yesterday with the Vancouver Canucks. We saw it with the Dallas Stars when they were the last team to play since that little 1-week break. We saw it with pretty much every team when they had longer a break of longer than 5+ days. These teams, it does not go well for them. The rest, to me, is never usually as good as the players make it out to be. Now, the Montreal Canadiens, they obviously needed the break. Not only are they on pace to have historically their worst season ever, they are breaking records as far as these COVID protocols go, because I'm not sure if you guys have all seen it online on Twitter, but there was actually a 12-man roster. I think it was more than 12. I think it might have been a 16-man roster that they could create with COVID protocol players. You could create 4 different lines with all the guys that were on COVID, plus 2 defensive pairings. So not only is this team playing so poorly this year, they've also had to deal with countless players jumping on the COVID protocol. It's not helped them out at all. One thing that has been good for them, though, is they've had a lot of AHL guys up there. And I talked about it with Carm on the show 2 weeks ago about how sometimes these younger guys will kind of make a name for themselves. They have almost more motivation We saw that in the Canadiens game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But like I said, Boston's minus 360, Montreal plus 290 here. The only way I'd look in this game, guys, would be over 6. Right now, we saw Boston. They've played back-to-back games against two of the contenders in this division, in this Eastern Conference, the Capitals and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This, to me, kind of reminds me of when we saw the Colorado Avalanche play the Seattle Kraken a few days back. You play a couple really good teams in a row. All of a sudden, you play a really, really bad team, but it's quote for quote a letdown spot. I hate even using that expression. That's not really something in my handicapping I use, but it kind of is for this game. So do I want to back the dog here? Absolutely not. But I feel like Montreal might put a few in. So give me the over 6 here, Carm. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is Andrew. You mentioned a few of the things that I'm gonna touch on. It's Montreal's first game since New Year's Day. Similar situation yesterday with Vancouver playing Florida. The big difference there was Vancouver had momentum heading into that break. Montreal didn't. Montreal was on a severe losing streak, and they're where they are because they're not a very good team right now. And sometimes teams use a break like this to reset, but I can't see how the Canadiens reset. And then there's issues here. Issue number one is there are some players who are stuck in the U.S. who are returning because of COVID for Montreal, who are returning back to the team. But you got players like Jake Evans, Alex Romanov, who have not practiced with the team in weeks. You have players on the taxi squad. So you have the GM now who has to not only file paperwork to get the players returning off the COVID list back into the lineup, but has to also send players and file paperwork for the taxi players going down. It's a logistical nightmare for tonight's game for Montreal, and you could very well see them with a short bench. They've got 2 games, tonight against Boston, and then they play Chicago tomorrow. I don't want to say an NHL team will mail it in, but this really feels like a game where they mail it in. And I get the thing of on any given day, a team can jump up and surprise another team. And better teams than Boston have thrown in clunkers against bad teams like Montreal. But the Bruins are still playing catch up. They're in 8th place, 32 games. They still have 4 or 5 games on the teams in front of them. These are the games they can't afford to lose. These are supposed to be I hate to use the word, guaranteed 2 points that they need to lock up and move up those standings, because at some point their schedule lightens up or gets a little tougher, and you've got to play the teams in front of you, the Rangers, the Carolinas, the Tampas, the Floridas. So you've got to win these games. So I don't think they take their foot off the pedal against the Canadiens tonight. I hate laying money line or puck lines where you're laying juice, but if it's minus 140 out there, I'm seeing 145. That's actually a play I would take, is the Bruins on the puck line, minus 1.5, minus the 145, and take them. On another note, Tuukka Rask with Boston, signed a 1-year contract, and he's backing up Linus Ullmark tonight. So we'll hopefully we don't get to see him tonight, but for me, it's the Bruins minus 1.5 here. Prez?
Yeah, guys, I mean, it's one of these things where it's the Bruins minus 1.5 or nothing. I'm electing to go with nothing. Man, Tampa Bay beat this Montreal team 5-4, went to overtime. That was the game I played against Montreal in regulation and got bit. This Montreal team is a nightmare. Andrew, I look at your over, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Boston going over the last 2 games in a row, 5 of the last 6. But I can't get to the window on that either. I don't know who's going to score on Montreal. I mean, I know you sit there and you say Montreal is going to, maybe get 2. From who? I mean, you go through their last few games. Okay, they got 2 against Florida. Florida is not nearly as good a defensive team as Boston. They put up a 0 against Carolina. They did put up a 4 against Tampa Bay, but then a 2, a 1, a 0, a 2, a 3, a 1. I don't think you can count on Montreal to put up 2 goals. I think you can count on Montreal to let 2 goals in. But, I'm sitting here and it's like, I don't, every time I jump into one of these losing streaks, like when I took Montreal against Tampa Bay, I can't ever get it right. I once I've missed a losing or winning streak, like Pittsburgh ran off, I think 8-9 in a row. I didn't play Pittsburgh once that entire time. I just try to stay away because, and especially with the AHL guys in there, I mean, there's no film on these guys. These guys are hungry as hell. One thing I can tell you, and we see this with call-ups all the time, the young kid call-ups, they come out of the gate flying. Their dream is right in front of them. They can taste it. They can smell it. And then 3 games later, they're back in the AHL because they just couldn't maintain the intensity. Man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Why are there so many shit teams in the NHL? There's so many winning streaks. Florida's put out a huge run. Pittsburgh's put out a huge run. There's so many losing streaks. How do you play against Arizona? Like, you just play against them blindly every single day? This has been such a strange year. But the bottom line is, Montreal is minus a shit ton of profit if you've been playing them against them on the money line this year. I mean, you would be down. If you've been playing against Montreal on the money line, you are up a ton of money, even with all the juice. So maybe you don't overthink this and you just keep playing against Montreal, even at minus 300. I mean, you look at this, guys, and you say to yourself, minus 340. If they played 100 times, if they played 10 times, would Montreal win 3.5 in this situation? Or 4.5 or 5.5? Montreal would win maybe 2 games. Maybe. So even at minus 340, I would, if I could bet Boston over Montreal minus 340 4 games in a row, I would do that. I would do it because it's likely I'm going to win all 4 games. So, I'm struggling with these situations where it's minus 500, minus 400, 420. It always feels like you should just take the dog, and yet they're just not winning. So I like your over, but I can't bet it. I like Carm's minus 1.5, but I can't bet it. Throw him in a parlay with the Leafs.
Yeah, you could. I get it. Throw him in the thing. I think you're still going to end up paying about $1.60 in juice.
Take him in both in regulation.
Take him in
there you go. Toronto.
Time. Well, no, not Toronto in regulation time. I'm saying you can take Toronto full game, and you can take Boston in regulation time, and you literally have even money on that 2-team bet.
There you go. There you go. Show's over. I'm out of here. Goodbye. See you at WagerTalk today, everybody.
That's pretty good. Big announcement coming up on WagerTalk today. Big announcement. But yeah, that's a pretty good call there. Look, I'll say this. I really think that, what Prez said there is a good point, because what I struggled with early on in this season and last year, what was pretty much my kryptonite, was puck lines. I'm probably the least profitable puck line NHL bettor and handicapper in the entire world. Puck lines just don't suit me, Prez. I've never done well with them. Yep. I don't like laying a goal and a half. I just don't like it. And so last night with Tampa Bay and Florida, those seemed like plays that were pretty obvious. And I just don't like laying the puck and a half. I ended up doing a 2-team money line parlay with the clients, with the Penguins and the Lightning, and that came out. That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been avoiding these puck lines and putting these 2-teamers together if I see a spot like that. But yeah, there's a lot of chalk right now. There's a lot of teams including Montreal.
Yeah,
that consistently they're minus 350 or minus 400 on the other end, Prez. So I get you. I get what you're saying right now. There's a lot of teams where it's like, how do I? Because I had someone message me yesterday and said, "Are you on Florida?" And I said, "I wouldn't talk you off it, but I hate the juice." That was pretty much my answer.
Yeah, Andrew.
I was like, "Yep."
Yeah, guys. I mean, listen. Everybody knows I'm not a parlay fan, but I mean, all three favorites on the money line: Dallas, Boston, and Toronto, and you're getting plus 155. So, I would say that's probably the only way to bet this entire card from my perspective. But hey, guys, you don't have to bet them either.
No. It looks like a chalky night. Again, I will say this. I know everyone thinks, everyone knows I'm a Habs fan. I will say that the only thing I would say about this for the Boston Bruins, their last 3 games were against the Minnesota Wild, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Washington Capitals. In my opinion, 3 of the higher scoring, skilled teams in the league. So now you're playing the Montreal Canadiens. So I look towards the over. I think Montreal can get theirs off a lot of rest. Carm, you've been doing this show with me. We've done it all year together. You know what I've been saying with these long streaks, the long layoffs. It's been over city, man. It's been goals for teams that haven't played in a week.
Listen, you both make very good points, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on it's pond hockey when you see a team come back off 10 or more days off. But I also get Prez's point here that you might be reliant on the Boston Bruins getting 5 or 6 goals to get the total over.
Yeah.
Because I don't know on Montreal. I'm looking at the lines, and I can't believe we spent 16 minutes discussing the Montreal Canadiens. But these were the lines that were yesterday morning. Hoffman, Suzuki, and Lehkonen on the first line. Drouin, Dvorak, and Armenia, the second line. Dauphin, Poland, and Caulfield on the third line. That does not instill fear in my heart. I'm sorry, Andrew, and Montreal Canadian fans. That is not 3 lines that you roll out that you're worried about. They've got to get some guys back into that lineup, and you might not see those guys until tomorrow night in Chicago.
Next game.
Well, the Montreal Rocket team scored 4, but it's going to be weird. The Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars, that's another one up. We talked about it already, the money line parlay possibility here. We do think it's a chalky night. Prez, my video is completely behind right now, so I'm just going to go to you for this game. Dallas-Seattle.
Yeah, listen, you can get Dallas at minus 130 in regulation, and honestly, I think that's the bet. Here we have another situation where a team has lost 6 games in a row, 9 of their last 10. That's Seattle. Dallas won 4 of their last 5. But what I really like here, Andrew, is I really like that Dallas lost their last game. So because if Dallas had won their last game, I would be more inclined to lay off of this bet. But given that Dallas lost their last game, and this Dallas team is fighting for a playoff situation, you made a comment at the beginning of the last segment. Or Carm did, if Boston is going to make the playoffs, they have to win these type of games. Well, it's literally the same with Dallas. And Seattle is just an awful team. They played their asses off against Colorado. They lost 4-3. But Dallas is just the skill on the ice just does not compare between these two teams at any position. So my attitude is, you take Dallas minus 130, 10 games in a row against Seattle at home, and you take that in regulation, man, you're going to win 7 of them. So Dallas minus 130 in reg. Bold man?
Yes, I've got to agree with you. And yes, I am bold, so I'm particularly fine with that. I don't find it as an insult. Dallas.
I don't mean it as an insult.
Yeah, it's all good. But when you look at this game, it's I always talk about home-away splits in a lot of sports. You can tell a lot about a team. Dallas has the 4th best home record in the West, and I got in front of the Pittsburgh Penguins coming into Dallas on a 10-game win streak, and I took the Dallas Stars there. I got in front of, I think it was the Colorado Avalanche or Florida coming there, and I don't mind because this Dallas team is playing unbelievable at home. But then they hit the road and they can't win a game. This team is in the West, 16th and last in the West on the road. And I'm talking about Dallas here, not Seattle. So thankfully, they're 4-11 on the road this season. Thankfully, this team can win games at home, and they're going to need to continue to win those games, Press, because as you said, right now they sit, 12th in the league. They still have a couple of games in hand on a few of the teams in front of them. But these are games, much like the Boston game, you need to win if you're vying for that 7th or 8th spot. Anything higher than that is not going to happen. You're vying for one of the wild card spots, 7th and 8th. Ottinger has been great, 8-2. The under, 11-5-1 at home for Dallas. And then you look at, I mentioned Grubauer in that game where Seattle went to Colorado, 1-8 thus far on the road. He just can't win on the road, but it has something to do with the team in front of him as well. 7 of 15 games for Seattle on the road. They've scored 2 or fewer goals. Another reason to probably like the under in this game. But Dallas in the under for me. Okay, so
guys.
Andrew is refreshing, so I'll go to Prez for a couple of more thoughts on this game.
No, let's move on to the next game, Carm. It's 11:28, and everyone gets to hear Andrew every day, so they won't miss him that much. It's not that big a deal.
So we will head into the third and final game. Last but not least, at least for one of these teams, it's Toronto and Arizona. Toronto, a big 3-0-5 on the road. Arizona plus 245. Totals at 6. The puck line on the Leafs minus 120 if you're laying the goal and a half in this game. And Prez, I'm just going to make this quick and simple. Leafs played a very good game last night. Campbell, again, another very good performance for him. But it's Mrazek in net tonight. He's only played 3 games thus far this year, and they've been all, while going 2-1, they've been gimmies for him in the sense of Ottawa, Detroit, and Chicago, and now he gets Arizona. But this is his first start since December 11th. Some injury issues with him. They're showing Wedgwood in net for Arizona, but not confirmed. But they put him on the COVID list on Monday, so I can't see how you put him on the COVID list Monday and he's ready to go here. So it could be someone else. For me, it's the Leafs. I'm going to keep this simple. I just don't see how they lay an egg in this one. Leafs in regulation time as well, too. I can't go any further than that. For me, it's the Leafs here. I'm not going to touch the total.
Yeah, so, Carm, this is a really interesting game only because it's not a great spot for the Leafs. This is one of those scenarios where the Leafs just played potentially a Stanley Cup, team in Colorado. Then they just played potentially a Stanley Cup winning team in Vegas. Now they're playing the worst team, second worst team in the league behind Montreal. I don't know how they get up for this. It is a back-to-back game. The Leafs are going to come out soft. Sheldon will scream and yell at them till he's blue in the face. But, are the Leafs going to win tonight? I think they got a good chance of winning tonight. Am I going to take them on the puck line? No. Am I going to take the minus 300 and change? No. If there was a dog in the fight of the 3 tonight, I would say it's Arizona. This is just a really shitty spot for Toronto. I do really like the over in this game, though. I got to believe Toronto's going to get us 4 goals. I mean, they put up 4 last night. They put up 4 the night before. Here's Toronto's last few games. 4, 4, 4, 6, 5, 5, 3, 5, 3, 3. This team can score. And Arizona, they let other teams put up 4, 4, 3, 8, 5. I'm baffled this line is not 6.5. Over 6. That's how I would attack this game.
Prez, let me ask you something before I throw it back to Andrew, and then I actually want Andrew's thoughts on this as well, because he's a player prop guy. Austin Matthews in Arizona. Obviously, his family and him lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. He'll have family at the game tonight. Austin to score a goal tonight, -130. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'll answer that flat out from my perspective. I never have and never will make bets like that. Those bets are for fun. I don't know how anybody could figure out whether a player is going to score a goal on a particular night, especially the goal scorers. Because the goal scorers, as we have seen over and over again, are going to put up 8 goals in a 4-game stretch and then 0 goals in the next 4 games. Do I know when Austin Matthews' big run of goals is going to come to an end? Nope. Nobody told me. So I don't bet that kind of stuff. I don't know how you handicap that kind of stuff. I consider that kind of stuff just pure luck. But Andrew is way wiser than me in that regard.
Yes, he is. Andrew?
Thanks, Carm.
As far as those props go, I just kind of look for, which lines are generating, what are the prices and stuff like that, and looking at the opposition as well. But when I look at the player props for goal scoring, and Carm, I want to get your response to this too, is that people kind of will look at me wrong if I release, Nathan McKinnon to score a goal at +110 or Connor McDavid to score a goal at +100. And it might sound so ridiculous that these guys have these prices sometimes for their player props, but it's because of what they do. So you could either look towards the third line guy that's getting +220 for you. And in my opinion, if you're not playing the quote for quote chalky guys, then you're going to put a smaller amount of units and sprinkle on 2 or 3 of the guys giving you better value. But for me lately, I have very rarely been doing that. On this show, I gave out Daniel Sprong +300, I think last week. But for the most part, I look towards guys like Matthews that are +110 to score a goal, because those are the guys, to Prez's point, I can actually rely on, and it's not deep in the bargain bin. So people will say to me sometimes, Carm, well, how can you take a guy to score a goal at -110, McDavid last year and near the end of the season? It's because these guys score almost a goal a game. That's why I can do that. But what about you? I mean, I think it's hard to argue it right now for tonight.
Yeah, listen, if you do it long enough and you're making money with it, why would you stop based on anybody else's opinion?
I agree.
Last year in the playoffs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, if you gave them a power play, they were going to score. They were money last year, and yet, and our producer and I, Joe, we would take these prop bets. You were getting over half a point on the power play plus money with guys like Hedman +160, Stamkos +140, Braden Point +170. Why would you not continue to take that when they're giving you plus money? And in the regular season, if a team and the star players are playing a team that is in the top 5 in penalties, you're going to get power plays in those games. These guys are going to be on the power play. You're not getting a second or third line guy hoping to play on the power play. You're getting a guy like a Stamkos who's on the number 1 line, who's going to play on the number 1 power play line, who's going to pick up a shift if they're down in the game. He's going to pick up an extra shift in that third period on the third line. Those are the ones that make you money. And as Andrew said, at plus money, it is worth it. You chart your plays. If you're not making money, you stop. But if you're making money, you keep going to it. It's the same as switching sports very quickly, trying to predict rushing yards in the NFL or passing yards. Well, passing yards are great for a quarterback if he's averaged over 350 yards 7 straight games. But if they're playing a team and they're up by 20, if they're playing a team up by 20 points, they are going to run the ball in the third and fourth quarters and kill that clock. Those passing yards are dead. Okay, so it's what it is.
But it is not analogous, and it's a really great conversation that we've led ourselves into. But it's not analogous for the following reasons. I understand. Look, Carm, the concept of if you take over in passing yards and a team is up by 21, they're going to run the ball. Well, that's why you're lucky to win 55, 56% of your bets. So that's taken into account in the fact that you lose bets. The reason it's not analogous is you can't say to me, Austin Matthews is going to score tonight because the 3 defensemen on the right side play with their left hand high on the stick and they tie their shoelaces up with their mouth. Therefore, it leads really well to the style of play of Austin, so he is more likely to score a goal than not. That handicap does not exist. Whereas if you're taking over in yards, for a quarterback, you could say they're playing a team with a secondary that's really, really banged up. They're playing a team that has no pass rush. It's going to give him a greater time. There are actual logical reasons why one team will get more rushing yards or more passing yards against another team. There is zero logic to why a guy will score on a Monday and not on a Tuesday.
Well, I mean,
no,
I told you,
you're going down a rabbit hole. You're going down a rabbit hole that is completely different than what I said. I gave you logic with Tampa Bay and guys like Stamkos and Braden Point and Hedman. I gave you logic on why taking plus money on them with power play points is important because
I agree. I think that's a fair point, Karma. I think that if you're getting plus money, look, I wouldn't make these bets regardless. But I agree, Carm. There is at plus money, they score on power plays all the time. Okay, fair enough. But it is no relevance to the concept of over and under in passing or rushing yards.
Well, I'll make it relevant right now. If you're playing the Detroit Lions, I think you have a better chance as a receiver to have a better game than if you're playing a better team, maybe. If you're playing the Arizona Coyotes, you probably have a better chance of performing at a higher level than if you're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is a fact. If a team gives up 4 goals
you want to know a fact? Andrew, before we get deeper into this conversation, you and Karma are on here every single day. Go back last year to every goal Connor scored and every goal Austin scored and every goal Ovi scored, and you tell me how many were against teams below 500 and how many were against teams above 500. You show me the actual statistics on if you play a bad team, you're more likely to score. That's not necessarily true. Well, you just said
the teams in general. If I told you tonight, you know what, Prez, your pickup hockey team is playing a team that gives up 5 goals a game. Tomorrow, you're playing a team that gives up 2.25 goals a game. Which game would you rather bet a goal prop for?
Okay, that's totally fair. But I don't know if it's going to be that guy that scores. Anyway.
Exactly.
Dude,
I get your point. It's very random. It's very random.
Yeah, it's just random. I mean, you got to give me some serious plus money on this stuff. Mm-hmm. But hey, Andrew, man, you win on these bets. So you find a rhythm. You're in your rhythm. So, I'm just saying they make no sense to me. But hey,
I agree with your point,
I don't bet
Prez.
Japanese baseball either, and Brandon is killing it.
He does. He does kill it. I agree with your point, though, because tonight the Leafs could win 6-2, and Mats could not, maybe doesn't score. And everybody that lined up to took Matthews to score a goal, they lose their bet. So I agree. I know exactly what you're saying, Prez.
Like,
Don't get me wrong.
I think you're better off if you're playing a really shitty team like Arizona or the Habs. I think you're better off taking a Spezza to score at plus 350 or Morgan Riley to score at plus 400, rather
Prez,
than their best guy at minus 130.
These games are the bargain bin
games.
These games are the bargain bin games. I agree with you. Real quick, though, my thoughts on the Leafs game. I like the over just like Prez, but for different reasons. If you look at the games the Leafs have played recently, they really haven't been not all that impressive. Before they came back, they beat Edmonton, who's struggling, Ottawa, who's horrible, Edmonton again, Chicago, who's horrible, and they lose to Tampa Bay. They haven't really had great games against top-tier teams. That game against Colorado, they choked the lead away. Yesterday, they choked the lead away, have to win in a shootout. Prez talks about how Sheldon Keefe will be blue in the face. I think he will want them to absolutely dominate Arizona tonight. The message in the locker room will be, do not take your foot off the gas pedal like you did in your last 2 games. I think the Toronto absolutely blows them out of the water tonight. That's just my 2 cents. I feel like we get an angry team. Despite the win last night, I think we get an angry, motivated Leafs team here tonight. So we will get into best bets, though. 3 games on tap for tonight. Carm, I'll throw it to you. You can let everyone know what you have up at WagerTalk for today.
Yeah, a couple plays in soccer this afternoon. Kickoff 2:00 for the first one, and then 2 client plays. 2 plays. One is a client play, which I am going to give you guys as my show best bet because it is a stretchy one, and then a 5% play up that you can get over at WagerTalk.com. The show best bet, guys, I am going to go with, and I haven't done this on the show before. I think it's a chalky night. You take all 3 teams on the money line, and you're getting plus 163 on your money. Those were the odds as this morning when we prepared. I know Prez during the show recalculated at plus 155, but take the Bruins, take the Leafs, take the Stars. These are not regulation time bets. These are full game bets on the money line, plus 163. You're not going to see me again doing another parlay like this on the show, but I just don't see any of the dogs rising up and upsetting today. It's just a chalk night. Let's turn it into a plus money night with all 3 winning.
It is a chalk night. Best of luck with that, Carm. And it is very rare that we'll see us do that, but I think there's a good night for that tonight. 3-team money line parlay for Carm. Soccer action up at WagerTalk. You can find it before kickoff. Carm, you guys know he crushes it on the pitch. Check him out. And Prez, you are rolling on the ice right now. Do you have anything up for tonight? A package?
You'll have to wait till my announcement on WagerTalk today about that. But I do have an NHL play up tonight. My best bet on the show is over the total of 6 in the Leaf game. Andrew, WagerTalk is in today, starts in 15. I got to run. My headphones are coming off. You guys can finish this one without me. Love you all.
Yeah, guys, I'll continue with my best bet is the exact same thing as Prez. So I'm on the over in the Leafs game as well. Leafs and Coyotes over 6. I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of a slow start from the Leafs that could create some chances for Arizona. Other than that, I think the Leafs put up 5 or 6 goals tonight at minimum. I think it's going to be a big night. I definitely wouldn't talk anybody off playing the Leafs on the puck line either, despite the juice you're laying with that. So Prez and I, we're sharing the same best bet tonight. Toronto and Arizona over the total of 6. Carmine Bianco, Boston, Toronto, Dallas. Put all 3 of those teams together. What do you get? Plus 163. Great 3-teamer for tonight on all 3 games here. On behalf of Carm, Prez, I'm Andrew. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocketman. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to WagerTalk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand-select your handicapping roster. Don't forget coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.